watching My 18, the home of comedy.
This is My Tucson TV's In Focus, a discussion of issues and events in Tucson and Pima County, with your host, Bob Lee.
Good morning. I hope you're having a nice weekend. Our focus this morning is on ballet and on a unique Tucson dance studio. Ballet is known for teaching not only dance, but grace, poise, self-discipline, confidence, and teamwork as well, the sorts of skills necessary in the development of self-esteem. Dancing in the Streets, Arizona has also found that ballet can keep you out of trouble, help you with peer pressure, and help you do better in school. All of this we'll discuss in just a minute. A little bit later on in the program, we're going to be discussing a rather unique production of the Nutcracker Suite Ballet. Here it's going to be presented very shortly here in Tucson. We'll tell you more about that a little bit later in the show. Let me introduce my guest. Dancing in the Streets, Arizona is the name of the dance program. The artistic directors, Celeste Lupu and Joseph Rogers. Thank you again for being with us. It was not too long ago when you were here to first talk about the program. And some things have changed. We want to talk a little bit about that. Things have gotten better, some new classes. I talked about some of the things that ballet can do and some of the things that you specifically focus on, to some extent, Joseph, because of your background, having come up from the street, so to speak. Tell me about the kind of the focus, the mission of Dancing with the Streets again, dancing in the streets.
Well, the mission is for at-risk youth. What we want to do is we want to make our ballet classes affordable to the public. I mean, as of what I'm saying is we want to make it more accessible for people who are low income, who will have an opportunity to take a ballet class or to do a Nutcracker per se.
Well, you're really kind of specific in that you target this particular group because of some of the dynamics of your program. I mean, you're not necessarily going to turn away little Tiffany in her ballet suit, but more than likely there's a program someplace else for them. You're looking to instill some very specific notions and values and things in these kids. Elaborate a little more on that.
We're reaching out to a population of kids that traditionally has not ever been exposed to traditional cultural performing arts. We are located in the heart of South Tucson, which
the city of South Tucson.
The city of South Tucson,
absolutely.
Right, which is known pretty much mostly for folklorico, mariachi, and Mexican food. So we are a whole new dynamic for that population and that location. It's just sort of opening up doors and trying to instill, as you already mentioned, the notion of coming to class on time, of having to have a uniform, of having to follow a set schedule. Those real basic principles are something that's really new to a lot of our families. We're also educating families, and we're kind of helping create community within the dance organization itself.
What age group do you focus on?
Age 3 to adult.
3 to adults. 3 to adults.
So through up to age 18 or through?
No, we 3 to 50.
Oh, okay. You have adults as well.
Oh,
Yes,
oh,
yes.
okay.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
When you get people involved, I'd like to talk a little bit more about how the family benefits from this, which you touched on.
Well, one of the things that we have tried to do is really sort of create a ballet community. And we do that through a number of ways. We have our full-length productions, and everyone is involved in them. We have volunteer parents that help out with every aspect of it. We also encourage, we are now a place where voter registration is available. So we try and encourage our families to be involved in the community and be informed. And be informed about other issues and decide what's important in their school, in their community. And ballet kind of gives them a little bit of self-confidence to say, oh, well, if I know how to come to the theater and bring my kids here, maybe I'm not so afraid to ask a question of, where do I need to go to find this answer?
You actually have like a volunteer, I'm assuming here on the premises that is qualified and prepared to register somebody from Boulder?
Yes, we do.
yes,
yeah.
we do.
Our board president.
We're not focusing on that so much right now, but in a few months, that's going to be a big item
Yeah,
again.
yeah. Our
Right,
board
absolutely.
president is a registrar, and many of our families find that it's really intimidating.
Let's
for
give her
them.
a plug. It's Marion Lupu, your
Right,
mom, and
Mary
everybody,
Lupu,
everybody
absolutely.
knows
Yeah,
That's
her.
right.
So
Mary
it's-
Lupu, board
Absolutely.
president.
Right.
all right.
And social activism is something that's part of being community, being informed, and it is not, there's no side to it, there's no left or right. It's about educating yourself into being an informed participant. That comes with community, that comes with I'm taking my children here and I'm wanting to improve my kids, but I also need to improve the larger community, and that's part of being an informed, informed citizen.
And tell with that too, you know, we're educating that now with dance, you know, when I was a child, I mean, now you can take dance and go to college now. You know, college is a lot
You can
even
actually
if-
make money dancing.
Right, right. You know, there is an alleyway that you can go into college and use your dance and use that if you know, and venture off in something else. So it is an alleyway for, you know, higher education, you know.
When families, and in particular some of the younger people, first come to your program and sign up and start coming in, what can you tell us about commitment? Do the majority of them stick with it? Because there's a lot of discipline here, as you pointed out. I mean, you gotta learn some things that perhaps weren't
Yeah.
necessarily
Yes and
Well,
no.
part of the
Yeah.
family routine.
Right. It's more of a yes and no. Yes, dedication, you know, is with the parents and the kids. No, when it comes to the economics. A lot of I mean, like we said, we're in the heart of South Tucson, the city, and that's a really, I mean,
Now, this
it's a-
program isn't just for residents of the city South
No,
Tucson.
no,
We need to
no,
make sure
no,
everybody
no,
understands
no,
that.
we have-
If you're living out at
No,
Vail,
that's another thing
you can
about-
come up the freeway and
Right, right. But
We-
that's go ahead.
Yeah, we have a number of students coming from all over. We have students coming from the east side. We have from Vail, from Sarita.
Or
but we
Valley,
are
right.
we are located in South Tucson because that is a particular area that has never had classical
anything
ballet.
like this.
Right.
Yeah, other than beautiful tile work and Mexican restaurants. So it's sort of something new to that area. And the thing about the students that we run into is keeping them involved is not necessarily the issue. The children are involved, they enjoy it and they love it, but economic times, even though we are affordable, families have really fallen into hardship. They were already at hardship, so we have kids that will cycle in and out of our program depending on if mom or dad is sick, if dad has lost his job, if dad and mom have both lost their
Or
job.
if they went through foreclosure.
You know,
we've been through that.
We do have
so-
families that once they get involved, it's not necessarily the discipline that turns them away. It's really life
Life issues.
opportunities.
Life issues,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
there are some new programs that you have available that are interesting, and we want to talk about that, as well as the Nutcracker that is coming up, and we'll get to that and much more in just a minute. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're talking about Dancing in the Streets, Arizona. We should probably pick up on sort of the down note we left the last segment on, that when people do have to drop out because of financial circumstances, when that turns around, they are welcome back.
Oh, definitely. And they do come back to us. And we do have partial scholarships available, but our funding is very limited. We
You're
rely
struggling
on
like everybody else.
individual
Oh,
donations.
absolutely,
We don't
yeah.
have any grants. We did have a Loesch grant our first year, but just like everybody else, the funding is dried up, and we're still new to the community, 3 years. But yes, they're always welcome at any time. We have not turned away a student ever.
All right. When we were setting this up, you said you have some new kind of elements that are part of it this year. Talk a little bit about those.
We have a wonderful lady named Monica Valencia, and she teaches our Zumba. Zumba is like the biggest craze now.
Yeah, what is that?
Zumba is a type of, I call it, it's a type of aerobic, with Latin style dancing. You know, you put a little cha-cha, a little salsa, little merengue in there. But it's all
fitness
cardio.
oriented.
Yeah, it's all cardio.
Is this something new?
Yeah, it's a fad, evidently. Yeah, if you, I mean, I'm sure a lot of us stayed up 3 o'clock in the morning watching those infomercials, and you see those girls going like that. You're going, wow, that looks, you know.
It's a fun form of
Right.
exercise, and it's really geared for the non-dancers. I mean, it has much more dance movement than a regular traditional cardio aerobics class.
Right.
But it gets in the parents, the grandparents, maybe, you know, starting to get the family involved
So this is
in
geared
physical
to
activity.
the older student as opposed to
This is geared to
children.
the parents.
To the parent, to the adult,
You know, the adult students.
You know, it's a good way of relieving stress. It's like 1 hour of complete dancing. You will go in there nonstop. You know, you'll start from point one to all the way
But
through.
you work wherever you're at. You don't have to feel like you have to be a trained dancer. The dance moves that are in there are not so overwhelming that you're going to get intimidated.
Right.
Let me
right.
jump in here before we talk to some of the others. Now, somebody gets into this, you know, somebody who's watching us right now, Monday says, you know, I think I want to do that. How do the classes, is there a beginning, a middle, and the end of the classes? How do people register? How do you get them in and out?
You wanna tell
We
me?
go on 8-week sessions, and we have ongoing registration at any time. Our website is www.ditssaz.org. They can always go to our website, check our schedule, come to a class and try a class for free of anything. All the first classes are free. They can take for adults, can take a drop-in class if they want to. They can buy a punch card.
First class is free.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to show up next week, they can
Yes.
at least get acquainted with the program and
Right. Yeah.
In
Get
fact, we
get some
recommend-
hands-on
Yeah.
sampling.
Oh, absolutely. We recommend that they come in to see the studio, you know, because, you know, walking into a studio can be very overwhelming.
With all the mirrors and the bars
Yeah.
around
The
the wall and
mirrors,
everything,
you know, you don't know what the aura of it is, you know. So, you know, walking into a studio is very important. So, you know, to come in to feel what the aura is,
The energy and
the
the vibe,
energy, to see if you like the teacher or not. So, you know, we give them that first opportunity of a free class. So, you know, they can say, well, nah, this is not for me, or it is for me. So,
All right, something else that's new since you were here last time, Tai Chi.
Tai
Tai Chi
Kung?
Kung,
Tai Chi
yeah.
Yeah,
Kung
you say it better than I do.
yeah.
Most people are familiar with Tai Chi, but Tai Chi Kung is focused more on health and healing. And it can actually be done sitting in a chair. We have a number of students that are quite elderly, and it really focuses on the circulatory system, health and wellness, circulation, improved joint flexibility. And it's something that's a little bit, you're still getting a full workout, but it's a little less vigorating than perhaps the Zumba. It's not as jolting on the
It's not
body.
jolting on the muscles.
So you're really using dance, if you will, to go
Fitness.
beyond some of the things regarding the kids that we talked about, but also in terms of just sort of lifestyle and health and fitness with
lifestyle,
adults.
especially in that area, you know, because I mean, you know, just the way of life down in South Tucson is just, you know, we're trying to give some people some hope down there, you know, just something that they can grab on, something new out of their, you know, their whelm. So.
Yeah, mind and body connection is really important. And, you know, almost all of the families we have understand the importance of getting their kids active. But part of having a healthy family and a healthy community means everyone in the family and the community needs to be involved in helping each other get healthy. And that includes everything from the mind, the body, the spirit. So there's ballet, there is Zumba, there is Tai Chi. We also have jazz classes. One of our teachers from our summer intensive is volunteering
Jazz
her time.
dancing, I'm assuming.
Jazz
Classic
dancing.
jazz
Jazz dance.
dancing.
Her
Yes,
name,
yes.
her name is Valerie Earl McNeamy, and she's a dear friend of mine back in the day. We did Nutcracker back like 20 or 30, I can't say 20 or 30.
A little while back.
Right. But, and I gave her a call one day just out of the blue and say, hey, Valerie, you know, I'm doing this dancing in the street. I want you to come down there, and I don't have no money, but, you know, I got lots of kids who are enthused. She's like, sure. So she came down, she taught the whole summer, and she turned to me and says, Joey, I would like to teach you for free for the whole year.
Well, jazz dance is really great because there's a lot of a lot of creativity there, a lot of room
Right,
for improv.
it's not as strenuous as
Exactly,
ballet. It's
exactly.
almost kind of like
no, it's more strenuous than ballet,
it
but
is,
what
you
it
think?
focuses on is isolations, and you don't use turnout with ballet. But ballet and jazz and any other dance form really work hand in hand. But the thing that's nice about jazz is they get to have a little different music. They're working differently, and they really complement them each other. And this is a classic jazz style. Many studios do not teach this style of jazz anymore. They teach more focused on jumps and turns and tricks. This is really about basic body isolations and learning the classic jazz, Bob Fosse era of jazz.
On that note, we will take a break, and when we come back, we will talk about the Nutcracker. Stay with us. We'll be right back. There is all of the pertinent information about the Nutcracker, the date, the time, the place, etc. Before we get into that a little bit further, I want to kind of wrap up. We always like to talk about success. You've certainly had several success stories. One of the things we talked about was how this builds a sense of camaraderie among them and so forth. And you were telling me off camera about a young man and how they've... talk about that.
Yeah, this young man, DeAndre Vega, he's one of our original boys. And recently, his mother just passed. Suddenly. It caught us all off guard. This go ahead.
He's dancing the role of the Nutcracker Prince.
He's got
about
a
8
key
years
pivotal
old.
role in the production.
Yeah, he's only 8 years old too, so it's a very big responsibility.
But you're talking about, I mean, first of all, usually in any kind of a production, the people are sort of close to each other anyway.
Right. But this boy, we just seen him grown within the last 3 years, and he has to drive to dance, and